Good evening. أولا أشياء أولا Azizi Mushahideen. First things first, dear viewers, we are thankful to India's noted and highly respected defense and security expert, Pravin Sawhney, for answering our question that we had raised at our YouTube channel a few days ago. Let's listen to our question and his answer to our question. Mr. Pravin Sawhney hasn't said anything about the likely response of Saudi Arabia, which is a major source of energy, workers' remittances, and investment for India, to the next engagement between India and Pakistan. Not only will Saudi Arabia, which is, of course, a major source of energy, workers' remittances, and investment for India, lend its support to Pakistan, the remaining GCC countries will also put their full weight behind the Islamic Republic. In the third and last video of his 3-video series on the Operation Sindoor, Mr. Sawhney has explained in detail the likely form or shape of the new engagement. Let's listen to him.
Pakistan will have support of Iran, Turkey, all the 6 GCC nations. In fact, one of them, Saudi Arabia, has already signed after Sindoor the Strategic Mutual Defense Agreement with Pakistan. Then, in my assessment, both Bangladesh and Maldives will support Pakistan, and as far as Russia is concerned, Russia will take a neutral position.
Referring to the next engagement or the upcoming engagement between India and Pakistan, Mr. Sawhney, in his same video, has claimed that People's Liberation Army Navy plan of China will certainly support Pakistan's Navy on the seas. In our view, however, dear viewers, in addition to plan of People's Liberation Army Navy, Turkish naval forces, Islamic Republic of Iran Navy, the Egyptian Navy, yes, Egyptian Navy, which is the largest in the Middle East as well as in Africa, and is the 12th largest in the world, will come to the aid of Pakistan Navy, which is of course much smaller than India's.
In my assessment, the chances of Sindoor too are very high. Now I address the second question, that will it be bigger than Sindoor? What will be its shape and form? And the role of narrative building in it. So let's examine this step by step. We saw in 2016 so-called surgical strikes. Only the Indian Army was used. In 2019, only the Indian Air Force was used. And in 2025 Sindoor, both the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force was used, but in all the cases, the target was always the terrorist targets. And the reason for that was that at the top level, as I said, the strategic level, I have explained in my video earlier, that it's the clarity by the Prime Minister given was that only do counter-terror operation, and the reason for that is that they are not likely to lead to a military-to-military engagement, which in turn can result in an escalation. An escalation which then becomes a hot war and it cannot be controlled. So the directive is very clear, but it did not work in Operation Sindoor. And we saw in Operation Sindoor, as far as the first night air battle is concerned, the Indian Air Force, in my opinion, did not do any air-to-air engagements, that is the military-to-military engagements. However, on the night of 9-10th May, as part of the tri-service plan, the Indian Air Force was used and did successful counter-air operations, which are military-to-military engagements And therefore, a situation arose, despite all the attempts that it should not happen, that Indian Air Force was compelled to be used. So the point that I am making is that in Sindoor 2, if it happens and if Indian Air Force is used, rest be assured, it will result in a hot war. That should be very clear to the government. And two other things should be very clear to the government. The first is that America, unlike Sindoor, will not help mediate or call whatever you may in Sindoor 2. And the second is also please keep in profile the grown profile of Pakistan geopolitically after Sindoor, which will impact on Sindoor 2. And as part of the grown profile, there should be clarity that China will help Pakistan in Sindoor too, like it helped in Sindoor, both in peacetime, in pre-war, as well as during the operations. Full support of China to Pakistan. Then America will support Pakistan because America now has given a strategic role to Pakistan after Sindoor in the Middle East. Then Pakistan will have support of Iran, Turkey, all the six GCC nations. In fact, one of them, Saudi Arabia, has already signed after Sindoor the strategic mutual defense agreement with Pakistan. Then, in my assessment, both Bangladesh and Maldives will support Pakistan, and as far as Russia is concerned, Russia will take a neutral position. So, when you look at all this, it becomes very clear that if somebody was to do a sensible appreciation in India, would come to the conclusion that the use of Indian Air Force in Sindhu 2 will certainly lead to a hot war. Then what are the other options for India? Because India does not want to fight also, it does not want escalation.
Last but not the least, through this video, we would urge Mr. Sawhney to tell us the likely role or position of Afghanistan in the upcoming or next engagement or hot war, possibly hot war between India and Pakistan. I am Sarfraz Ahmed, based in Karachi. أنا سرفراز أحمد لايبراري التاريخ جديدة كراتشي باكستان. من يا زبون سرفراز أحمد يا ربوتي دوجزتا كراتشي باكستان.
What are the other options for India? Because India does not want to fight also, it does not want escalation. Now, there are a lot of people who are talking of use of Indian Navy. In fact, attention is drawn to this tri-service exercise involving the Army, Air Force and Navy, which is to happen soon and for which the NOTAM, which is Notice to Airmen, has been given in the area Rajasthan, Gujarat from October 30th to November 10. It's basically to say that the airspace should be available. Now, Pakistan also, not taking any chances any longer against India, has also issued the NOTAM. But here I have 2 points to make. My first point is that this exercise will not become an operation. I'll give you 2 reasons for that. And this exercise is already being used to build up a narrative of strength. And we've seen the defense minister, Rajnath Singh, he's given statements on Sir Creek. So, which is that bravado statements, which is good, which is narrative building. Why it won't translate into an operation? There are 2 reasons. One is that all the operations until now have happened in the Kashmir theatre. Anything that happens outside the Kashmir theatre will certainly lead to a full-fledged war between India and Pakistan. There should be no doubts on this. And second, if there is any encounter at sea, it will not remain restricted to the EEC 200 nautical miles of the 2 countries. It will go over to the global commons, and in the global common, we know that plan is very much there in Djibouti, in Horn of Africa, and plan and the Pakistan Navy, they are very much positioned well to cover the Arabian Sea, that area. So, what we will be looking at eventually is escalation will happen, and a combined operation India may have to face with plan against plan and Pakistan Navy, which will be much bigger than what has happened in Sindoor, where it was a one front reinforced war only. That means Pakistan fighting, China not fighting, not helping to the hilt, but not showing its hand in fighting, which will not be the case in the Indian Navy.
I'm a student of Indology, Sovietology, Semitic languages, and Middle Eastern studies. Thank you for watching this video.